Sorry for technical glitch, sir.
There's some technical glitch. We'll just continue.
That's perfectly okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So today we are very happy to have you with us, sir. And now I request our HOI of School of Media and Communication Studies, Simply Central University, Narendra Bandabe, sir, please proceed with the event.
Thank you, Nidhi. Thank you, Nidhi. Thank you, Shashank, sir, for joining us and giving us your precious time. Start with the question that is more important. What is exciting journalist? What inspired you to become a business journalist?
Well, first of all, thank you for the kind words, Nidhi and Narendra, both of you. Thank you so much for inviting me and thank you for the kind words. My inspiration goes, why did I join journalism per se and specifically business journalism? For me, I believe it was more of an accidental choice rather than a very conscious decision. It so happened that once I did my graduation in commerce, I did not know which are the various avenues which could be followed. I was fond of reading newspapers, and I thought that was when I sort of I thought what are the kind of avenues I could look at. I thought that journalism was something that probably would interest me because I like reading newspapers. So that's how I joined journalism. And the first job I got was with BSJ, which was incidentally a television channel only. It was basically they were a production house, and they had a channel in those days called as India TV, which was not this India TV that's their and I had joined it. It was not a very conscious decision, but in short, it's not something that I decided very much. I thought that I understood it, and that's how I joined. That's how I got a break in the end.
Okay, you started in 1997, I guess, right?
Yeah.
97, 98. And from then to now, how has the field of business journalism has changed since you started your career?
See, the field of business journalism has changed quite a lot. Primarily because when I had joined business journalism, there were only if I talk about television per se. In television, there was no player in the field who was no channel which is to focus on business journalism per se. CNBC did exist, but CNBC was something that was focused on the US markets. That was not focused on the Indian markets. Gradually, other channels came up. Newspapers, even then, there were some newspapers. Business Standard was there. Economic Times was there. So these are papers that already used to exist in the field of journalism. In television, there were not many avenues. So that is it. When basically when I started, that was the case. During the .com boom, I don't remember exactly the years. Maybe around 2000, 2002. That was the period when business channels, CNBC primarily, started showing a lot of stock markets, live stock markets came in. A lot of coverage of business started happening. Initially, it was very heavy on the stock markets. People who wanted to invest in the stock markets, they should get some news to impact the stock markets quite a lot. So that is how it progressed. After that, basically, I think the second business channel, if I just talk about the television fraternity, that was e-business, where I joined at the very start. And that was basically, I think, the second business, Hindi business channel, I would say. NDTV Profit was there. That was the English business channel. So what happened is over a period of time, a lot of business channels started coming up. And maybe after 2011 or so, we saw a lot of websites which used to focus on business. People started getting quite interested in the stock markets. So business channels or business coverage primarily was earlier, it was the domain of the stock markets. After that, people in business also, they started specializing in various fields. Like, for example, in journalism, you have got set of business journalism. It was a very general kind of a field. There were no specialization. After that, people started specializing in stock markets. People started specializing in auto, in aviation, and so on. In the mid, maybe around in 2008, or maybe a bit before that, for the next 10 years, maybe till 2015, we saw a lot of specialization happening. After that, again, we have seen consolidation in the field of business journalism also. So I believe now the number of fields again has, there would be people specialized in the field, but a lot of people are about a lot of business journalists. They have to more or less be aware about of time. Maybe in the last so, the field a lot, it has become very technology centric. Journalism per se has also changed. Earlier, we had a lot of reporters in the. I'm just talking about television specifically, since my experience has been mainly television. There were a lot of reporters
Just about now,
Lorraine, would you mind repeating your question? I can't hear you properly.
my question is, what skill do you think are essential for aspiring business journalists today?
Very good.
People think the business journal market things are there, but what kind of skills he or she needs to develop to become a good journalist, business journalist?
As far as skills are concerned, I would say the skills would be similar to what any journalist would need. First, you need to be uh, you have to be a good observer, and you have to be well read. The reason for being well read is business journalism is a slightly, maybe a bit more complicated than any general stories that you do. When you're doing a business journalist, things are technical things. There could be things which are, the terminology could be a bit different. The kind of words that you use in the field, you have to understand what exactly something means. So in the end, what I would say, what I say is that the kind of skill sets that you would need is, one, you need to be a good listener. Second, you need to be a good reader. The need for reading is you have to understand what exactly is going on. When, for example, if somebody talks about the top line or a bottom line of a company, or if somebody talks about some statistics in business, in terms of business. So you need to know that. And of course, it depends on what is the field. For example, if let us assume I'm an auto journalist. So I need to understand, there probably would be talk about the car, the features, the various technology it uses. So I need to understand all these things. So that is the reason I said one of the most important things is that you need to be well read, so that if you are doing an interview with somebody, you should be in a position to speak to them in the language that they, and maybe simplify it a bit. So that's a very important thing. Uh, Second thing, see, business journalism is not as glamorous as maybe somebody who's covering a celebrity or maybe crime or something. Business journalism looks, for most of the people, it looks like a very plain and boring kind of a field. So maybe you should be able to enjoy that. If you do not enjoy these things, if you do not enjoy getting into the nitty gritties and details, a lot of research is needed. In nothing against general journalism, but what happens is in business journalism, you really need to listen very hard and really need to understand what is being said. Otherwise, you will make mistakes. This is true. This is true for general journalism also. But in business journalism, just because of the terminology used, maybe because of the facts and figures, this could be difficult. So what I would say is, in the end, you should be able to enjoy it. If you do not enjoy journalism, if you do not enjoy reading about companies, reading about success stories of uh, big businessmen, reading about maybe in today in business journalism, everything is covered. For example, gadgets are covered, auto is covered. So in the end, you have to decide whether you like these fields. For example, if you like gadgets, I'm just saying hypothetically, so maybe that is a field that you could look into. The good thing is now that nowadays with the coming of the web, there are a lot of opportunities available even in such specific niches. If you like gadgets, maybe you can work for a site that works with gadgets. One more avenue is there are a lot of people who nowadays have their own channels. They basically open up their own YouTube channels. They explore gadgets. They have their own setups. So that's also a very, very good way of looking at things. But as I said, you have to really enjoy it. If you do not enjoy it, chances are you will not be able to persist. So I believe that is a very, very big quality. Reading stuff, I suppose that is also important. If you like reading stuff, probably you will like that. Maybe you can ask me a cross question if you have any.
So I have this related question. When you talk general about journalism in the journalistic way, general way, the business is one part of journalism, but
Yeah.
one bit actually. But when you think about business journalism, what are the various sub bits for the business journalism?
See, as I said earlier, in business journalism, there are people who cover markets. There are people who cover billion, that is basically gold, silver, such things. There is auto. There is now uh, gadgets, technology. There could be another beat of information technology that could be there. There could also be people who cover the government sector, but specifically maybe the finance ministry. Maybe they cover PS. Banks is another big beat. A lot of there are some people who just basically focus on banks. So these are the kind of sub beats that could be there.
Okay. At the time of Z Business, you started a program called Money Guru. That was more about personal finance, and the major chunk of a man's life is all about financing his own stuff. So, give us detail about that personal finance show and how this personal finance bit within the business journalism is very important.
Yes, it is a very important beat, but again, as I said earlier, it is a very dry beat. People love money, but people do not want to understand how to make money. So that is a thing. Uh, the show that we started, it was with the aim of maybe trying to make it more attractive so that people find personal finance more attractive. They are able to understand. Even today, everybody wants money, but most of the people do not understand how to save money. For example, if you're doing, if let us assume that you have put your money in FD, people feel FD is safe. Yeah, it's going to be everything's going to be okay if I keep my money there. But if let us assume that you are getting 7% in a FD, and your inflation is at maybe 5% or 6%, you'll be hardly saving anything. So, in a way, the personal finance show that we did was it tried to offer people avenues in terms of it told them where they could invest and how, if they had concepts which were not very clear, uh, where to invest, how to invest, what is the difference between various kind of insurance, what is the market linked policy, all these things. It tried clarifying that. So that was, of course, an exciting time for us. We first we ourselves had to understand quite a lot before we brought it out to the. One of the major things in business journalism, I believe, would be this that you have to understand the tough things and really make it very easy for the viewer to understand. If you are able to do that, chances are you will be a very good business journalist.
Okay. And the second thing is most important thing is share market. How the new journalists can get the idea of the share market thing and how they can report that share markets ups and downs, what is how it is related to economy or the quarter 3, quarter 4 results. and there are stock markets analysts are there. So how they can build up a rapport with them. So tell us something about the specifically the stock market reporting.
See, the stock market reporting, as you rightly said, basically talks about the stock markets, and one of the things that any channel, newspaper, or anybody who's doing stock market reporting, a lot of times see, why are we doing this? We are doing it for somebody who's reading or somebody who's viewing your program. So when you do that, the orientation is like this, that I would like to tell my viewers that, for example, today buy a XYZ company share because there is this and this news is there, which is positive, and chances are the share will move up. So if you now what happens in stock markets? Stock markets are all about sentiments. Stock markets have, depending upon whom you ask, a lot of people will say stock markets has actually got nothing to do with what really happens. It is more on the sentiments. So that is the question that is debatable. But as I said, the stock markets move on sentiment, and that is something that most of the people do agree on that. So if you are a stock market reporter, as I said, you'll really have to be on the top of it. For example, you have to, I'm just saying hypothetically, you have got ABC company, and that company is maybe it's in the Sensex. You have to really understand what are the kind of things that will move the stock market. If you can report on it fast, well and good. You'll get a brand that, okay, this person knows, and this person really knows things and can help a person viewer. A viewer will also trust you. But on the second hand, checking your sources and facts is also very important, because this is the thing is, hypothetically speaking, let us say I have a company called as ABC company, which is on the stock market, and I come to know from a source that this ABC company has got a 50,000 crore order from the government. I straight away just flash the news. Okay, so what will happen? The prices of the stock will jump, but later on, it comes and that's a wrong news. So I will be under the scanner. SEBI may decide that basically, how did you, basically, why did you see this? When you're not sure, there is no official confirmation. If I'm saying this, official confirmation, and later on, if it proves to be wrong, so there could be all kinds of trouble for me. So as I said, having good sources, for good sources, it's always the same thing for anybody. You have to meet people, you have to interact with them, you have to meet various stockbrokers. If there are some companies which you're tracking, you have to meet them. So the way of doing it remains the same. That it is correlated. We should never try to be the meaning break to pay. So fast and being correct is very important.
Okay. So, according to you, what trend do you foresee in the future of business journalism or digital media?
That I foresee in business journalism, or for that matter, digital media, is one trend that's apparent to all is the use of artificial intelligence is going to increase. Now, with the use of artificial intelligence, it could be very good in helping you doing your research. When we had to do our research earlier, we had to read newspapers, write it down, write it in a diary. When internet came, maybe it became a bit more easy. We used to copy and paste. Now, with chatbots and artificial intelligence, a lot of answers could be got related fast. For example, I can ask a question that to a chatbot, and provided I give it the data, or provided it is learning on that data, it could give me basically some idea on what the kind of story it could be. For example, it could tell me what are the, if I ask it, which are the best performing stocks in the auto sector in the past 1 month. I'm just giving you some figure. Probably it'll be able to help me in that. Based on that, maybe I could do a story. It'll make my life much more easier. But again, artificial intelligence, currently they say you have to really recheck your data because it hallucinates. So, you basically and I really want to track the bullion market. I really want to talk about it. I want to inform people. They can also do that. So people, I think maybe if I had started a YouTube channel, maybe I would be famous in YouTube. I did not do it. The reason for that is that's where I think knowing too much becomes a problem. Because I always thought when you're doing things, you have to do things very perfectly. The video production has to be perfect. Everything has to be perfect. But the people who are doing very well in YouTube have not done these things. They have started from very small. They have started from a small setup, having maybe a small bedsheet curtain behind them, and they started working on it. And gradually they have scaled up. So these challenges would be there because
But
see,
hire journalists.
is what you're saying is true. Everything is available at a prompt. But what I've noticed about most thing about people is everybody wants to do their own thing. For example, giving information to do research, that'll take some time. Even let us say tomorrow the autonomous agents come, maybe it'll be done faster. But it'll still be there. There'll still be a role for people who want to get into journalism, who want to report on things, and everything may not be there in AI. For example, I'm saying hypothetically, we talked about the stock market. If there's a development in a company, that is not something that no AI will know. You will still need people to report on things. Finally, for AI to know, AI can know things which are already there. It already knows. It can maybe do analytics, but it cannot predict the future. It cannot predict events. First of all, as I said earlier, going for journalism or business journalism or any niche that you do, read about it and go in only if you like it. If you feel it's boring and you're just doing it for the heck of it, don't do that. If you like it, only then pursue it. A lot of people uh, basically study thinking about your paisa milega, it'll be good, something that I'll earn money, that'll be a good opportunity. But money is it's important. But I believe if you're not happy doing what you do, you won't be able to do it for long. So in the end, you have to like what you're doing. I think that is the most important advice that I'll give. Second thing, again, which I said earlier, reading, having the opportunities of reading with internet. That will one, it will keep you updated. It will also give you an idea on what you like. Initially, when you get into any kind of journalism, you're not really sure what you want to do. Whether you want to do aviation, whether you you will basically know more about it. You can start their own YouTube channel and basically experiment with it before you join any organization. Before you even decide that you want to go into journalism, start your own channel. See how you feel. That is something that's a very good opportunity nowadays that people have. You have your mobiles which have got cameras. You can report. You can do everything. So this is an opportunity that was there with us. Today you have an opportunity to experiment. So before really going full fledged into it, this is something I would really tell them. Um, some people basically think that in journalism you have to be very good with numbers and all. This would be true only for specific beats. For example, if you're doing the stock market, probably or banking, probably you'll have to be good with numbers. If you are doing gadgets, if you are doing auto, probably not being good with numbers will also work.
Okay. So, Shashank sir, thank you very much for your time. Now I request Nidhi
To the end of this, I want to express my heartfelt gratitude to our esteemed speaker of today, Shashank Sharma. Your invaluable insights and experiences have been very much in all the intricacies of media industry and particularly for the business journalism. And also for sharing the various diverse careers in the field of business. I'm sure all of the students will share all the advices that have been shared by you and they will also pursue now. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much.
A special thank also goes to the founders and CET Board of Trustees, as well as our Honorable Vice Chancellor, for his contribution anytime through our link that has been available on this site. Thank you so much, everyone. We keep
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank Sharon, can end the meeting.